The latest patch on Battlefield 6 introduces a series of gameplay adjustments that will significantly impact how matches flow, from changes to gadget resupply to restrictions on launcher loadouts and even upgrades to recon drones. This update isn't just about balance, it's about reshaping player teamwork within Battlefield 6. Some of these adjustments, like the engineer's vehicle supply crate repairing allies automatically, will encourage more teamwork between vehicles and engineers. Others, such as forcing every gadget refill through a resupply crate, could frustrate players who rely more on the lone wolf mentality on the battlefield. Either way, these changes will affect every class in the game, and today we'll walk through what's new and what it means for your gameplay in Battlefield 6. This information comes from the Catwoman and was compiled on Twitter by Battlefield Bulletin. Thank you both for giving us detailed information of the current state of Battlefield 6 22 days before launch day. So let's begin. The assault ladder can be placed either upward or downward and can be used by every other class once deployed. We already knew this because we've seen the trailers and how it was being used. If you don't know what exactly this gadget does, I did a detailed video about the ladder and the sledgehammer, so I will leave a link to that video in this video description if you want to check it out. It's a very high quality video. I recommend you inform yourself what it does and how you can use it to maximum advantage. Moving on to the first big gadget that will change vehicle and engineer synergy. The engineer's vehicle supply crate not only resupplies ammunition, but speeds up equipment cooldowns for nearby friendly vehicles. It also automatically repairs those vehicles. So in Battlefield 6 Open Beta, if you were a tank driver, you knew that if you wanted to get help in repairs, you needed to have a dedicated engineer monkey with you at all times, or you were basically, well, dead. And if you wanted ammunition, you had to drive all the way back to base to get that ammunition. I think introducing a mobile vehicle resupply crate on the engineer is a really good decision here from DICE to make sure that your tank doesn't have to leave the heat of battle when you're about to lose or win, depending on your situation, to go resupply. Now you can do this as engineer and maybe save the match. I think this is an incredible addition to Battlefield 6, and I don't really see much negatives about it except one. It will introduce a more passive gameplay to repairing vehicles. Most engineers, if I had to predict here, are not gonna run to you now to repair you with a repair tool, even though they're gonna get a repair tool as a default gadget, and it's not gonna take a slot from the gadgets they can pick themselves. They're just gonna throw the vehicle resupply crate at you and run away. So whether this is good is really your point of view. If you like more active gameplay and you want engineers to be more involved actively in repairing vehicles, this is obviously a bad thing for you. For me personally, I think adding a little bit more passive teamplay is also a good thing, so not everything has to be so forced to be fun. Overall, a huge win from DICE including this. The only thing I'm gonna mention one more thing about it is that it reduces the active cooldown of vehicles. I'm not sure what exactly they mean here. Is it gonna reduce the cooldown of your APS, of your smoke discharger? I don't know yet. How much it reduces, we also don't know, so the exact percentages are unknown. If it's gonna be too much, they can just reduce this. It's very easy to balance, in my opinion. Another big win for all the vehicle players comes in a form of engineer not being able to equip two launchers at the same time anymore. They will now in fact have to choose between anti-tank or anti-air launchers. Yes guys, it finally happened. The double launcher meta is gone. It's been plaguing Battlefield Labs for a long time. It's been there during the Battlefield 6 Open Beta, made vehicles pretty much irrelevant, especially the air vehicles, because the Stinger is extremely strong and everybody could carry it. Now it's gone. Arguably, the biggest change in this entire patch notes is that every single gadget must be filled up at the supply crate. There's no longer automatic replenishing. However, your current progress will be saved if you have to move away from a supply crate. This means if you, let's say, a recon and you need C4, you're standing next to a medic resupply bag, and let's say you resupply 30% of your C4, you have to move away, or the medic put the bag somewhere else. This means that you still have 30% progress, is what they mean here, which I think is pretty cool. The cooldown based resupply they had during the beta, in my opinion, even though I have to admit I liked it as somebody who plays generally alone and don't really have a squad to play with, it gave me a little bit more options to try to resupply just my C4 by standing in a corner. This, however, is more Battlefield. Now I have to run to a resupply crate. I'm generally fine with this, and I think it's something which is needed for Battlefield if they really want to go with this teamwork-based gameplay. This was this one thing which truly made teamwork a little bit less relevant during the Battlefield 6 Open Beta. This change, I think, single-handedly is going to change the way Battlefield 6 plays basically forever compared to the Battlefield 6 open beta. How do you feel about this change in particular? I think it's the biggest change. Do you think it's the biggest change, or is it completely irrelevant? Let me know down in the comment section. The Battlefield 6 developers included two very important quality of life changes. The green circle around supply crates has been completely removed. Now we have a little icon at the bottom of the screen when we are within the effective area of being resupplied by medic. Really nice change. And then if you are running out of ammo, support players and their bags will start to pulse on your minimap, making it easier to find ammunition. This is all, I think, aimed towards enhancing teamwork. So now you know where your medics are, you know where the bags are. The only thing I will mention here is I hope you can maybe remove this. I mean, if you are a Battlefield veteran, you don't really need to know where the bags are. You just know where the teammates are and you run towards them. So hopefully these elements are not too distractive when it comes down to UI. The one thing I will also say is that the green circle being gone, I'm very happy about this. It really ruined, in my opinion, the aesthetics of Battlefield 6 when out of the 30 people I have on my team, 20 of them are medics, and then I see 20 of these green circles around the map. It looked like I'm in Marvel Rivals. Very happy this is gone. Incredible changes. The spotting also found itself on the chopping block. If you spot an enemy player now by pressing the corresponding button, it will now appear a bracket for a short amount of time, indicating that this player was now spotted for your team. Manual spotting has a cooldown to prevent spamming the spot button. This, I think, is also another very good change. There was, as we know, a lot of spotting during the Battlefield 6 open beta, way too much. I think them adding now a manual cooldown to spotting is a very, very good decision. Less spotting is better for the game because it introduces more ways you can play Battlefield 6, being a bit more sneakier, being a flanker, trying to place a really good beacon behind the enemy lines is kind of hard to do when you spot it all the time. Overall, another very good change for Battlefield 6. Since we are at the topic about spotting, our resident spotter Recon, his drone's vision is defaulted to thermal now. The EMP blast can be used to destroy enemy gadgets and kill enemy mortar players, which is, I think, a very good counter for mortar. You can't use it against vehicles, however. The lock-on animation is not very intuitive and it has a very, very low battery life. I actually can confirm this. I have seen some leaks of this drone being used. It's basically a Battlefield 2042 Casper drone, just done a little bit better. And now, as you can see, you can counter mortar players, but the battery life was very, very low. So you're still going to have to position as a recon to actually kill mortar players. So let's say you're not going to be able to spawn in base on Firestorm and then fly your drone all across the field to kill a mortar player on Alpha. You will have to be somewhere on Bravo to actually try to utilize the drone. So they want to prevent camping on mountains and people just sitting on the drones and killing the mortar players. So if you're thinking you can do this, you cannot. So you still have to be aggressive recon, let's call it that. But hey, since the game has an open weapon system, you can just equip an assault rifle and just spearhead assault, I guess. And then after you have wiped out the enemy team on a flag, you want to kill their mortars. Hey, now you have an option to just equip your drone and farm the mortar players. Now, the mortar itself has no follow camera like in Battlefield 1. Once deployed, you can aim the mortar by using the minimap. Now, if I'm not mistaken, even though I have 3000 hours in Battlefield 4, I have not once in my life used the Battlefield 4 mortar. But I think it works the same way in Battlefield 4. What I can say that in Battlefield 3, you actually had to sit on the mortar and then you also aimed by the minimap and you didn't really use any type of follow camera. I'm not sure why they're removing the follow camera like in Battlefield 1. Perhaps they thought it just gave too much information, but it's still going to reduce a little bit of that immersive factor everybody always talks about in Battlefield. So those are the mortar changes. The final set of changes for the current Battlefield Lives build is as follows. Recon's laser designator can be used like binoculars or simply place it on a location and remotely access it from behind cover, like so from in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. It has more zoom options including the normal and thermal vision. The thermal vision is nice. There's below radar for all air vehicles. There's a kill card by getting crushed by debris. Okay. Players can now quickly tank your medics and squad mates after being revived by just toggling a button via a new prompt instead of opening the comoros. Really nice. And tap fire finally has also been improved. So we're gonna get a bit more tap fire gameplay in Battlefield 6, which I think is a very, very good thing. And that basically sums up all the important changes that I want to speak about in today's video. How do you feel about these changes? Is there any notable change you're really looking forward to? Are they all irrelevant for you? Are you even planning to play Battlefield 6 at this point? Please let me know down in the comment section. If you did actually enjoy watching the video and you liked me as a creator, I will be covering Battlefield 6 extensively, and that means that I need your support. when it comes down to the algorithm, so do please leave a like and a comment on this video. If you were new here and you enjoyed the content and the gameplay, drop a subscription, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm not sure when this will be. I'm still a little bit sick, so I also apologize if I sounded a little bit nasally during this video. I'm fighting this cold now since Gamescom ended. I caught something on Gamescom and it's been hunting me ever since. I have some antibiotics now, so for the next video I'm gonna try to be in shape. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next Battlefield 6 video. Take it easy. Bye bye.